Hey everyone. Okay, welcome to Chatting with Ashley. I have decided that I want to start taking weekly questions. So if you have any questions about being in a hard marriage, if you have questions about dealing with a narcissist, whether it's in a relationship or whether it's like your boss, if you have questions about watching a friend or family member, brother, sister, whoever deal with a hard relationship, send them to me and we're going to talk about them. While I wait for you guys to talk, to send in your questions, which you can leave just as comments on the video, or you're welcome to send them to me in a DM, whatever you're comfortable with. I want to do a series called Common Pieces of Marriage Advice that are actually damaging for people in difficult relationships. This is one of my biggest frustrations, is when well-meaning individuals provide advice to someone in a difficult relationship that probably really honestly did help their marriage, but is actually hurting the person in the relationship. So I just want to talk about it. The first common piece of marriage advice that I want to chat about is you can't change your spouse, you can only change yourself, which is true. It absolutely is. And it's definitely something that should be validated, can probably help loads of relationships. But if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, this is damaging. This is hard. And here's why. Let's walk through it. Okay, here's the thing about the narcissist. They present really, really well. And by present, I mean when they're around people who are watching, they do everything right. Everything. And they look amazing. And so someone who's in a relationship with a narcissist, they fell in love with that person who presents everything amazingly, right? And they look so good doing it, and it's just great. And then at some point in their relationship, something switched. Once the narcissist already felt like they had that person, there's no reason to keep up the facade, suddenly everything is different. And so the person who's in a relationship sees this whole other side and doesn't quite know what to do with it. But then they go in public. They go to church and he's serving. They go to family's house and he's suddenly this great dad. They go to his sister's house and he's like helping and serving her and doing great. So they end up in public and the person in the relationship goes, oh, see? That's who I married. That's who I fell in love with. He's here. Everything is great. Wonderful. Well, pretty soon, the person in the relationship sees that good things happen when he's around, when their narcissist, doesn't have to be a he, is around other people. And therefore, the thing that suddenly is different is when they're only around the individual. And so if they're looking for marriage advice and they're looking for help and they're trying to figure out what's going on and they hear that phrase, you can't change your spouse, you can only change yourself, what they do is go, that's true. And in fact, when he's around anyone else, he's great. It's only me that there seems to be a problem with. So I just need to change myself. If I can be a little more patient, if I can be a little more understanding, if I can try to communicate a little bit differently, if I can learn more about his love languages, if I can, then things will be better and I will get to be treated the way that he treats everybody else. I will get to see that side that I fell in love with to begin with. So this idea ends up with the individual going, you know what, you're right. I wasn't patient enough. And so I apologize. And they end up apologizing after they've just been abused and manipulated and gaslit, and it feeds it over and over and over again. The victims grab hold of these teachings, just trying to get some control. I can change myself. I have control in that. And so it becomes a stabilizing factor in their life. I can control myself, and so it's going to be okay. Now, there's a healthy application to this, which is knowing my value, knowing what I'm okay with and what I'm not okay with, knowing how I expect people to treat me, and changing to make sure I have boundaries in place to protect all of those. There's a healthy application for it, but that healthy application doesn't happen in the beginning, in the fog, in the middle of the gaslighting. It's really difficult. So what ends up happening is instead they're thinking, well, if I can just communicate more like his boss, then he'll treat me the way he treats his boss. Or if I can be more patient like his mom, then he'll treat me as nicely as he treats his mom. And the abusive behavior will end, and I'll finally have that marriage that I thought I was signing up for. So that is our first video. Congratulations. Thanks for walking the journey with me. The first bit of marriage advice that can actually be super damaging for someone in an unhealthy relationship. I've got more. We'll chat more. If you have questions, send them to me, and we'll do a weekly chat with Ashley. Thanks.